Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Elite City Podcast. Before we get started here tonight, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And we are at Elite City Pod on all social media, and we are also now on YouTube.
Yeah, so you can smash a like button there, and you can do all that stuff.
Yes, but this is the big show.
It's here.
Well, not Paul White, but yes, the biggest show of the year. We'll say that. I can't believe that it's here already. Literally, it seems like last week I was like, I can't believe All In's like 6 months away.
End of August came insanely fast.
Yes.
Like ludicrously fast. It was weird.
Have they started school in Canada?
No, we start the day after Labor Day.
Oh, okay.
I know there's some places in the States where they start in August.
Yeah. My sister and my niece where they teach, they started this week. And but when COVID hit and they got rid of snow days because they gave all the kids laptops.
Yeah.
They just start earlier so they can end earlier. Like my sister, yeah, like they're usually done. I think even with teachers going the extra week, like without kids, like they're done by June 1st. Like,
oh yeah, we get late. Like the last day of school last year was like June 30th or something.
Oh yeah, see there. But again, you take, you guys are still off.
Yeah.
They had started. So, okay. Well, enough about school talk. Let's get into wrestling.
Yes.
It's All In is here. And yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say it right now. Hands down, going into a pay-per-view, this was probably the best build they've ever had.
Yeah.
Like even starting into like, we'll just say this whole summer, because so much has happened. And I don't know how people can still say there's no storylines in AEW and obviously pretend to watch the show. Because every match, even the pre-show matches, have a story. And that's
I don't necessarily love every single story, but like they all do have one.
Right.
And this didn't have, maybe it's because there wasn't a pay-per-view in July, but this didn't have the typical, and I don't even fault AEW when they do it because people get mad, but I don't. When like the week before the pay-per-view, they add like 5 matches.
Right.
And that's not even, those matches aren't random. There's always most of the time, there's a reason for most of those matches. But these, like you could have picked the All In card a couple weeks ago because they built everything so well. And it's, they've done a great job. Like it feels, we've said this before, like last year was cool because it was the first one.
Yeah.
And they had, such a huge crowd, and it was the first time any company had done that other than WWE. So that was just super cool just to have it exist.
Yeah.
But now this one feels like if it's going to be their biggest show, if it's going to be their quote unquote WrestleMania, it feels like that now.
Yes, it does. And well, I mean, now we know next year is going to be in Texas, and rumblings of they're looking to do a show in Australia, a stadium show in Australia. So
yeah, Australia is interesting because I have a friend in Australia, and I was looking up the venues. I think Australia only has big stadiums. Like they don't. They have small, like really small built, and then like only massive stadiums. So I don't know where they'll do it.
Well, I was just going to ask if you knew what's the average size of their larger stadiums there? Are they like Wembley size, or are they?
The one they wouldn't do it in because it's too big. There's like a Melbourne cricket ground. I think it holds like 100,000 people or something. They wouldn't do it there. Oh, well, yeah. But right. they have a lot of massive buildings, so I'm not sure where they would do it.
I mean, WWE has ran shows there, but like not many, have they? Like to my knowledge.
I think part of the issue is not only is it far, like it takes a long time to get there and send all your stuff there or find stuff there.
True.
Like their cities are also pretty widely spread out. It's not like the US where you could hit like several major cities in a short drive. Like they're more spread out. It's more like Canada than it is the US, where like they have like a couple major cities close, and then the rest are like the other side of the country.
Oh, okay.
Also, a lot of animals that can kill you. Probably unrelated, but I thought I'd point it out.
Yeah, that's like the only thing I know about Australia is like there's more ways for you to be killed unknowingly than
Like a spider the size of your head.
Street, there's going to show 9 different spiders. Yeah. Ugh. Anyways, Well, do you want to jump into this card so far?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay. And this is so far, they have taped Collision, but we have not listened to spoilers, or not listened. It's not 1820. We haven't read.
I wasn't near my wireless radio, so I couldn't access those spoilers.
Right. Yeah, I don't know how to listen. That was weird. But to kick
in the
off
UK,
the show,
they have television there.
That is true. Starting off the pre-show, we have Stat and Stokely versus Willow and Ishii, and the winner gets to pick the stipulation. Correct? Yes. Sorry,
yeah, I think so.
I was talking to myself. I wrote it down, but I couldn't read my handwriting, so I was talking to myself. Gets to pick the stipulation for Stat and Willow's match at All Out in 2 weeks, which, again, talking about storylines, like when they first announced this match, I was like, okay, that's a pre-show match, but now it makes sense.
Yeah.
This has been like low-key the funnest feud that nobody's really paid attention to. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and it's been a good feud. Like I like Willow's great.
Yeah,
that's great. They've been great. Yeah, you're right that it's like probably hasn't got the attention that everything else has, but it's been good. I want to see more of it. I'm glad they're having a singles match at All Out, because I want them to have like a cool big blow off match.
Yeah, and I mean, come on, Ishii and Stokely are going to be hilarious. I think Ishii has probably had more fun this summer being a part of the conglomeration than he's probably ever had in like the strict, super serious, we have to be serious all the time in New Japan. Like every week he just gets to like hang out with Mark Briscoe and do fun things. Yeah, but this match is going to be fun. I think Willow was gonna win, and be able to pick the stipulation. But that's
what I like about this card is that we were talking about this before we started recording, that it's a lot less predictable than a lot of shows. And generally, like, I don't have a problem with things being predictable, because usually predictable makes sense. So yeah, I don't have an issue with it. But like this card is all of it's pretty unpredictable. I'm gonna pick Willow and Ishii, because I don't think Ishii is gonna lose. But you get to pick the stipulation thing. I feel like Stokely's going to do something, and I don't know.
That's true.
It's hard. I could easily see Stokely like doing something and getting a win, and then getting to pick the stipulation. But I don't think Ishii's here to lose to Stokely Hathaway. So
also true. I'm
going to say Willow and Ishii.
Okay. Yeah, it's going to be a fun match to start. I'm happy Willow and Stat are going to get like a Wembley moment. Like the Wembley moment is going to be, well, it's in a different stadium next year, so it's going to be the new WrestleMania moment, but it'll be, I guess, your All In moment is what we should call it. They'll get their All In moment, and just all in all, fun. And then we have, for the Trios Championship, a 4-way. Is it a fatal 4-way or just a 4-way?
I think it's like the first fall.
I
don't know. Okay. They haven't actually said, though.
Oh, okay. Well,
shockingly, AEW didn't fully explain a match before they had it.
Technically, we cheated on this one. Technically, the match isn't even complete yet.
Yeah,
so
and I mean,
they might tell us.
They might announce this on
Collision.
Collision, yeah. Which one's the ladder match? It's not this one. It's the tag title match. That's the ladder match, right?
No, I think this is the ladder match. For the trios.
Oh, okay.
I think. I don't know. It didn't.
Good thing we know that.
Well, I was gonna say I got this off the AEW website.
Yes, this is the ladder match.
Okay. So the AEW did tell me that this was the ladder match.
Yes, this one's the ladder match.
It just said Trios Championship. Yeah. Okay. So it's a ladder match, and like I said, we kind of cheated on this one. We looked up the spoilers, so
spoilers if you don't want to know.
If you don't want to know, skip ahead, and we'll start with the spoiler. So, the BCC, which is Claudio and Wheeler Yuta and Pac, won their match on Collision to advance and join the House of Black, the Bang Bang Gang, and the Patriarchy for the Trios Championships.
So this means the Lucha Bros are gone, right?
100,000%, especially with Pac being in the BCC.
Yeah.
Or not in the BCC yet,
but we're teaming with them.
Them. And as we were going to get to, I mentioned before we started recording, I mean, he has to join, right? BCC?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. The BCC needs something because they've been kind of like, they're all great wrestlers and I like them all.
Yeah.
But they've kind of just been there. Like,
Yeah.
They haven't really done anything in a while. So yeah, Pac joining would be cool.
It would be cool. And like, again,
and he needs something too.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, he doesn't necessarily need them, but he works very well in a group. Like Death Triangle was a really good, interesting group. And
yeah.
Excuse me.
And it sucks for him that they're leaving.
Yeah. But hey, to each his own.
Yeah.
At least they have a place to go now.
Yes.
I have the House of Black retaining. But
they're not retaining. They don't have
not retaining. Not retaining. I'm sorry. I have the House of Black winning.
Nah.
Winning the belts. But I think something's going to happen to the Patriarchy because it's going to make Christian mad. Like, I'm not even sure they'll be totally involved in this match. Like, I'm going to say they get jumped beforehand or something.
I could see this being like where they start to break up, where like Killswitch Luchasaurus starts to,
or he switches,
switch sides, or I could see that for sure.
Yeah,
I want to say Pac because I think he deserves his big moment in England. I think if
that's true too.
If the Lucha Bros were still around, I would think that they would make them champions. I don't know for sure about the BCC, but I mean, I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say the Patriarchy because I think they haven't had the titles for very long.
Okay.
And I can see them keeping them, especially because of all that weird stuff they've done with the trios titles recently. Like they merged them.
True too.
They merged them with the ROH titles, and then they unmerged them, and then they announced that Juice was going to sub for Jay White, and then no, he wasn't. And then they stripped them of the titles, and then they put them in a match back for the like. It's been a mess and weird, and I think they need to have one team have them for a while now to kind of stabilize things a bit.
And I'll take that, and I'm perfectly okay with them having the belts.
Yeah. But I could definitely see. I could see. Yeah. I mean, I could see anyone winning this really, because the rumor is Jay White is ready or close to returning.
Yeah.
So I could see him getting involved too. So I mean, I could see it like the other match. A lot of the other matches on the show. It's not very predictable.
Oh, I'm so excited. The next blah match is for the FTW title.
Speaking of not so excited.
Yeah. Jericho,
I say this in all honesty. Should this be the pre-show match instead of Willow and Stat?
Yeah.
Like, I know it's Jericho and I know he's famous, but like, shouldn't it be?
Yeah, because I mean the title's not even like, I mean even Taz says it's not recognized by any, so it doesn't need to be on the show. Like,
I mean, it was on the pre-show last year.
True.
That went flyingly well. There was no problems at all with any of All Out in that match. That was perfect. Nothing went wrong there. So do it again.
Right. I think Hook's gonna win.
Hook better win.
Yeah, I was gonna say I hope, because it just needs to end.
Though they did say, Jericho did say that if Hook loses, he doesn't get to wrestle Jericho again, and he doesn't get to compete for the FTW title again. And I want Hook to win, but I also don't want him wrestling Jericho again. And I would be fine with him never competing for the FTW. So, like, if Jericho won, I'd be kind of happy because if they actually follow that stipulation, that means that is free. True. It's like means they set him free finally. But I don't know. Hopefully it's Hook because, I mean, in theory, Hook beating Jericho at Wembley Stadium at All In would be a big moment for him, in theory. Sure.
Right.
But like, it was a big moment for him when he threw Jericho around on Dynamite in Toronto, like months and months ago. Like that.
Right.
That was his moment. That could have been his moment if you wanted to. Oh, let's give Hook a push. by having him beat Chris Jericho. Like he beat Chris Jericho already 5 months ago, and that could have been it. And this could have been someone else. This could have been someone else facing Hook and someone else facing Jericho. But it's not. We're here now.
That we are.
Then it really, honestly, it really depends on how they follow up with Hook. Because if he's just gonna stick around the FTW title forever and have like random matches with people and lose it and then like get it back, like that, I don't think that really works. Like he has to do something else.
Yeah, it's time for him to, like, if he wins, defend it for, I don't know, through December, and then maybe lose it, and then go instantly into the TNT title. Like, he needs that bump.
Win the TNT title and then like merge them together. So like stop bringing the FTW title with you. Be like, I had that. Well, I didn't have another belt. Now I have another belt. So didn't Taz do that? Didn't he have that until he won the ECW title? And then he just kind of stopped carrying the FTW title around.
Correct.
Yeah, he could do that. Because he can't. His whole thing can't just be fighting over this one not real belt.
Yes, that was his dad's.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hopefully it's.
Hey, but Jericho's band is going to play again, so we have that to look forward to.
Yeah. Well, we can. He just needs to take 6 months off. That's all it needs to happen.
Here's the thing. You're right, because I never like Jon Moxley. He's been gone for a while. And I love Jon Moxley. He's been great. But the last couple months of Jon Moxley in the ring, or like just on AEW, I was kind of with Jon Moxley. Like I'd seen him do a bunch of stuff. He was kind of doing the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
And it was still exciting when he wrestled, but like it wasn't
special,
groundbreaking, right?
Yeah.
But like now, if he came back, I'd be super pumped to see Jon Moxley again.
Yes. And
so I don't know why Jericho and I know he probably makes a lot of money. I know he's probably involved in like backstage stuff, right? Like how he probably helps Tony Khan with whatever. So it makes sense that they want him on all the shows. He's like still a pretty big name. He probably makes good money. He wants to be on the shows, so Tony Khan's going to put him on the shows. But like he could just not be on the show for a while. Like and it's not like he'd forget who he is. He could just be gone for 5-6 months, and then come back, and everyone would be happy to see him.
Right. Even halfway through that, if they wanted to like, have him do like a little thing from the road, like, hey guys, don't forget about me. Something simple. Yeah. And just to, but it needs to just.
I get that he's trying to like lean into it and be a heel and being like, you don't want me on TV all the time, so I'm going to talk about how I'm going to be on TV. Like, I get it, but like you could just listen to people and not be on TV all the time.
Yeah, like they're not hating your wrestling character. They're hating you right now. Like
you were like hanging out with your friends all the time, and they were like, "Hey man, we've been going out a lot. I think I need some time away." And you just like, "No, you don't," and just kept showing up. They'd be like, "What's wrong with this guy?"
Yeah, they just start to call the police.
He needs time off.
Agreed.
Maybe he'll take it after he loses to Hook, or maybe he'll show up immediately on Dynamite and demand a rematch with Hook.
More than likely. And then I mean, geez, every match from this point on has a belt involved.
Yeah.
TNT Championship, Jack Perry, who's the champion, versus Darby. This one's a tough one. The build to this has just been like pretty quick, but very good. Like, excuse me, Jack Perry forging the new belt was incredible. I think that's the most interesting hobby that anybody could have.
Yeah, I saw someone say online, I told you that someone's like, how many things did Jack Perry learn how to do while he was suspended? He's like, I'm gonna learn how to be a stuntman and set myself on fire and forge things out of metal. And I'm like,
yeah, like
I'm gonna make a weird bus and drive that around. Like he's just like,
I forgot about the bus already. Man, that thing ruled.
You're right that the build, like I didn't love the build, but they're both good. Like they're both good at what they do. So like it's made it interesting. And I think it's just starting. I don't think this is it.
See, that same here, and that's why I think Darby's gonna win.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is where we differ. I'm gonna say Jack Perry.
See, I had Jack Perry winning all day until I wrote this up for the show, and I changed it to Darby just because of something that Darby said. Darby, he said he was gonna like make that title prestigious again.
Yeah.
And I just have a feeling everything is gonna fall apart for the Elite, and we'll get to the other end of that story when we get to their match.
I feel the
Yeah.
opposite. I think they're going to keep them all
Okay.
with the belts for a while. So I'm going to say Jack Perry. I don't think this is over. I think he does something to like screw Darby again, and maybe they have a rematch later on.
Okay. Yeah, I think Darby wins it. I agree with you, it not being over though. So now this next match, we could probably talk about this for the next 45 minutes because there's a lot that could happen. It's the Casino Gauntlet match, and the winner gets a title shot. Have they announced where the title shot takes place?
No, of course not.
Okay. Well, I was going to say,
why would they do something like that?
Well, wasn't it last year? It was to be named later, and then it did get named and then they named it for something real dumb, and we were like, oh, well, they're not winning.
Yeah, like it was like for Beach Break or something. Yeah,
it was like Winter is Coming or something. Yeah.
And then they did the 1 year they had when they used to have the casino ladder match. For 1 year, it was like the Money in the Bank thing, and MJF carried that chip around with him for a while.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the chip. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Wow.
So I think this kind of replaces the casino ladder match.
Yeah.
And I like it. Like I love the casino gauntlet matches. They've all been good. I kind of hope that they do them a bit less now. Like I hope that this is it for a while, because it becomes less special if you do them all the time.
Yeah.
It would be cool if it was like an all-in thing. Every year at All In they have.
Oh, if there was just a casino gauntlet match.
Yeah.
That would be very cool.
I think that would be cool. And then they could work up to it, right? They could have people like qualify for it or something, right? Like it could be like a whole thing.
Oh man. It's up to 30 people, correct?
I think so, yeah.
And at any moment you can win. So
I love that.
That's a really cool stipulation. Just in this match, there could be a few returns. Looks like we're going to have a debut.
Yes.
Again, spoiler warning. If you haven't been on the internet today, I wonder what he's going to go by, but everybody knows him by Ricochet, has signed with AEW.
He was Ricochet before at WWE, right?
I'm not sure.
I think he was.
Okay, so he owns.
But he can still be.
So he still can be. Okay.
Yeah. He said, I think he did say he's not going back under a mask again.
Oh, okay. So he'll be Ricochet, but as we knew him in WWE.
Right.
Okay. More than likely, this is where we're going to see him in this match.
See, I think maybe not. I think he might show up for the Ospreay match.
I mean, that makes sense too.
But I don't know. He could show up here.
Well, depending on where it falls on the card, I guess he could show up for both.
Yeah. I mean, a lot could happen here. He could show up here like someone we were talking about Mox. Mox can come back here.
Adam Copeland could show back up.
Adam Cole or Jay White or
all those people who I'd forgot about.
Do you remember Wardlow? He's a person.
Vaguely.
I mean, Miro exists, apparently. He's still a human being.
Well, he's off because of surgeries, correct?
Yeah, but like I don't know what they were or how long they've gone for, so I don't know.
I just was gonna say I knew it was multiple surgeries.
But yeah, lots of stuff could happen. There could be return. Like there's rumors of people from Rev Pro in the UK showing up. I don't know who's in Rev Pro, but that would be cool. There's always New Japan. People could show up. CMLL people could show up.
Yeah,
like, it'd be cool. Oh. Shane McMahon could be here.
Literally, that's a real thing. Like, imagine, like, I don't know, just a random in that match, just a random number. Like, just you countdown comes. There's just that little pause, and then somehow, I mean, they couldn't get Here Comes the Money, could they?
No, but they could do like This Is the Money or something.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, he could come out to any song as soon as the AEW board said Shane McMahon. The place would just fall apart. Like Wembley Stadium would just crumble.
I mean, they probably just get because they think the Here Comes the Money sounds like a spoof of that OJ's Money, Money, Money song, the Apprentice theme.
Oh,
So I mean, Tony Khan would just pay for the
just
actual
buy
song.
the actual song,
Yeah.
or rent the actual song.
Yeah. So it's hard to pick. I don't know who to pick for this one because you don't even know who's in it.
I was gonna say, yeah, I don't even know who's in it.
For the sake of picking someone, I'm gonna say Orange Cassidy, but
Okay.
that's only because I know he's actually gonna be in it.
Okay, well, I'm gonna write that down. I'll pick someone too. Let me just think here real quick. I'm gonna write that down. See Rick.
Though I don't think this should count because we don't actually know.
Oh no, it's bonus points. If you call who wins this, that's a bonus.
Maybe it's Biddy. Maybe Biddy wins. That's why she's not on the podcast.
Right.
She's flying to London
to be in the Casino Gauntlet.
In the Casino Gauntlet match, yeah.
Even though it makes zero sense, I'm gonna say Ricochet wins.
All right.
And debuts.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll just say he wins.
I actually hope that it's not Hangman. Hangman makes sense, but I hope that it's not Hangman because I want him to go more crazy.
Yeah.
I want him to be like, if he loses this, he's going to go more insane trying to get his title shot against Swerve or just trying to get to Swerve. So I hope it's not him. I saw someone online say that it should end before Hangman enters the ring.
Oh, that would be incredible.
Just to have him lose his mind. Like he gets announced and he's walking down, but like someone gets pinned before he gets to the ring and he just like flips out.
he would just burst into flames.
Yeah, he just goes insane. It just starts like destroying everything, and like that would be cool. I would love that.
That would
if he never even got the chance to be in the match, that would be great.
But see, like that's the other thing. Again, talking about things that could happen multiple ways. This is just we're gonna get to how I'm gonna get there by the end of this, but I think. In theory, Hangman wins the Casino Gauntlet, but Danielson beats Swerve for the title.
Oh, that would be fun.
So then Hangman is in the, like, he still wants Swerve. He doesn't care about Danielson.
Yeah, and then he's like,
you know what I mean?
Swerve instead, and Swerve's like, nah, I don't need
to. Exactly. Exactly. And then
fun.
there's that whole, like, dude, just leave me alone. Like, Swerve just plays it off like, no, I'm gonna call in my rematch. But yeah, we'll get there. Here's the tag titles between the Bucks, who are the champions, FTR, and the Acclaimed. I read a thread today where somebody was saying, as long as the Bucks don't win, they're semi happy. But they wish there was somebody else involved, and I kind of agreed. Like,
yeah, I wrote down, "Am I a bad fan for not caring about this match?" Because I don't.
I don't want to say I don't care about it, but it's the one I'm least interested in.
Like the tag titles aren't interesting to me right now. None of these teams, like all these teams, are good wrestlers. I've liked them all at various points in their careers, but at this point right now, I don't want any of them. Yeah, you're right. I don't want any of them to win. I want something else to happen. Because they're all good teams. I have it's going to be a good match. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it's not going to be a good match. It's going to be a good match. It'll be interesting. They've all done good things previously.
Yeah,
but I don't really want any of them to have the belts.
Yeah. Again, like some of the responses in that thread were, you know, they almost wish that there were to be, like, leading up into All In, like a number one contenders tournament. So you could just have somebody waiting that's not one of the two losers of this match. So it's like, yeah, the titles are on somebody that we really don't care about, but at least there's a new team in the picture.
Right.
So
yeah, like think if it was like Top Flight or something.
Exactly. Just something like that. Like just something. Because the tag titles have been, like you said, like, I'm not excited about this match because I don't want to say the tag titles don't mean anything. They obviously do. But in the grand scheme of things right now, they're just that division, which used to be strong. Just, I don't want to say it sucks because it doesn't. But
I'm having trouble coming up with other tag teams though. Where like I said Top Flight, and now I'm like, but who else? And I know there's other tag teams, but I'm having trouble coming up with them.
like legit tag teams.
Yeah, and because of the trios titles now, you're like, if you're in a trio, you're not in the tag title, so like not even
Right.
top flight because they're in a trio, right? So
Yeah.
I can't think of a tag team that's just a legitimate tag team where there's only two of them, other than these three teams.
What's the Workhorsemen?
Okay.
Yeah. Well, JD's hurt, so they have Anthony Henry with someone else now. Just which I mean makes sense. So he's still a Ring of Honor, but,
right? Yeah.
But like I was gonna say, the Outrunners are great, but I mean they're not going to be AEW tag team.
They're not going to go for the tag titles at this point, at least.
Yeah, especially at Wembley right now. Yeah, like
it's hard. Like it's weird, but it's hard.
Oh, I missed a note. Hold on, let's go back real quick. I'm sorry.
All right.
It's just a simple question for you. Does anybody from the Hurt Business show up during the casino?
Oh yeah, I forgot about them. That would be cool.
I wanted to. I wrote that down and totally just skipped the question.
Yeah, I forgot about them. That could be a tag team too. You could do either Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin or Bobby Lashley and Leo Rush.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Leo Rush too. Yeah, Leo Rush was with them. Was he an original member?
He was Lashley's manager in WWE for a while.
Oh, that's right. He was the hype man. Man. I forgot about that.
Yeah, but they could be an actual team. That would be fun.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's another wrinkle in the casino match. We could have any member of the Hurt. What are they called again? I almost said the Hurt.
Yeah, they trademarked something else though recently. That's not the Hurt Business, but it's something else.
Oh, okay.
Because they can't use that.
Was it a little too close?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I'll look it up.
Okay. So yeah, going back, that would add a legit tag team.
The Hurt Syndicate is what.
Hurt Syndicate. Okay.
Yeah, it's a cool name.
It is a cool name. So now I'm off track. We're tag titles.
Tag teams. There's Dustin and now Sammy, but they're in ROH. So.
Yeah.
Private Party. It could be Private Party.
Yeah, Private Party. I forgot about them.
But it shows how lacking the tag division is that we're probably even coming up with the names of teams.
Yeah. Again, I was gonna say Butcher and Blade, but Blade's hurt. So
yeah.
Anyways,
for this match, I think it would make sense for the Acclaim to win, just because they've been kind of screwed by the Bucks for a while, and like it would be nice to have them win for like the face pop of it all. But I think the Bucks going to win. I'm going against your theory, and I think the Elite's going to keep all their belts. So,
okay,
I think the Bucks win and keep this going for a bit longer because I don't know why not.
I have FTR winning actually. Excuse me. I think FTR is just gonna. I don't want to say this is going to be their last run, but they did say this is probably going to be like their last contract. So for however long that is, they haven't had the belts yet. So, Cash got cleared on his road rage incident and all that. Like, I think they're going to be, tripping over my words. They're going to be rewarded.
That would make sense. That would make sense.
Yeah. Again, like I don't not care, but it's like, it's a whatever.
The match will be good. I'm not trying to say they're all great wrestlers. They'll have a good match. It's going to be a good match.
While it's happening, I'm going to be like, man, this is awesome.
Yeah.
But on paper, looking at it right now, it's like that's like up there with the Jericho match.
Yeah,
which probably won't be good.
Like there's been a build for everything, and like this has had a build. This isn't a nonsense. Like there's been a long build for this, but it's just a build I don't really like or care about.
Exactly. Now, something that I do care about is the women's world title.
Now we're talking.
We are talking.
Here we go.
Timeless Toni Storm versus the Glamour Mariah May. This is gonna. We're watching legit AEW history right now. Like, however long AEW goes on and lasts, this is gonna be like. This feud is gonna be up there with like classic company feuds. This is. This has been the feud of 2024. I don't care what anyone says. Like,
it's been gone on for what, like 8 months now too.
Yeah,
this whole storyline between
Yeah.
them. It's been good. Like the whole thing is, we've talked about it at length.
Yes.
We don't need to talk about it that much more, but I love everything about it. I love the wrestlers involved. I love the storyline. I love the twists. I think it's been great.
Yeah. And again, I have a question for you here. If Tony loses, do you see her taking some time? Because she's been a staple here.
Yeah. I could see her being off for a bit. I could see this actually, like, I could see them being like the forever rivals thing where like she's gone for a bit and then comes back and they immediately just start up again. Kind of like Hangman and Swerve will just go on forever now. And not in a bad way, like in a good way.
Right.
You know, back in the day, Rock Austin or Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, they can be away for 6 months, 8 months, a year. And then you just put them back together again. You're like, oh yeah, this is cool. Like they could just.
Yeah, I that's a great point. I'm into that.
Mariah May winning, I think, makes a lot of sense. It makes so much sense. She's put herself in a position where she's now like a top star. She's from England.
Yeah.
It makes a ton of sense, but I wouldn't be surprised if Toni Storm won it all either, especially since like Mariah's been kind of getting the better of her on every show. Like she's left her knocked out a bunch of times.
True.
I think Mariah May, because Tony's had the title for a really long time, and you're right, she probably does need a break.
Yeah.
And if it's not Mariah May, who beats Toni Storm? Like I can't see anyone else doing it. So
see, that's why I'm also picking Mariah May for that reason, that this has gone on for so long. Like nothing else will have this much meaning. You know what I mean? Like
the only other person I could see beating her for it is if Mercedes loses the TBS title and comes after her, but it wouldn't have that. You're right. It wouldn't have that much meaning. It wouldn't be that story.
Right.
This is the perfect story for her to lose it on. And they could go a bunch of different ways after that. Like it doesn't have to be the end of the feud. It would just the end of like this. Like when Paul Heyman was talking once about the bloodline stuff in WWE, which has gone on for super, super long time. He said something like, "Oh, it was just the end of the inning. There's more innings coming up," and I could see that with them. Like, "Oh, this is just it. This is just it for now, right? Like, this is just." But yeah, I think Toni Storm loses. I think Mariah May wins, and then Toni Storm's gone for a bit, and then maybe comes back later with a new gimmick or a different version of this gimmick, or I don't know what she would do.
See that's this gimmick is so good.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I agree with you. Mariah May, I think she takes it, and this match has potential to be a show stealer, just because of like how involved it is.
Yeah.
If they go out there and they blow the roof off the place, this has potential to be match of the night.
And it could go so many ways. It could be like a wrestling match, obviously, because they're both good wrestlers. It could be a brawl. It could be like a half comedy, half serious thing. It could be like it could be super over the top with like crazy weapons and like whatever. It could just be like violent. They could just destroy each other. Like it could be anything.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. It could be the match of the night because they're just like, there's a lot of good matches on this show. A lot of them could be match of the night, but like this, we're wrestling fans and we like obviously wrestling, right? So like people who just say, oh, I don't care about the matches, I only care about the story. Like, no, you care about the matches. You just also care about the story.
Right.
And a great match is a great match. You could put two guys, you could put Bryan Danielson and anybody in the ring with each other and it would be a great match and you'd enjoy it and it would be good to watch. But a good match and a great story, like the story makes the match mean more.
Yeah.
So like, Mariah May and Toni Storm having a match a year ago would have been a good wrestling match.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be what it is now. And yeah, it can only be like my key example for this is, remember that CM Punk John Cena match, like Money in the Bank match when Punk was going to leave in like 2011 or whatever that was.
Yeah.
And like their match was good. They're both good wrestlers. It was a good match. But the storyline around it made it a great match. Or like Rock versus Hogan at WrestleMania that time. Like it was a good match, but like the story around it and the crowd made it a great match.
Yeah.
Like this is going to be a great match because of how much effort they put into building it.
And, you know, going back to WWF era, a match that stunk but had a great build is Hogan Andre. Like, if you watch that match,
yeah, outside of any of the build, it's a terrible match. Yeah,
yeah, it's slow, it's a slog. Hogan carries the whole match because Andre couldn't move anymore, or could barely move. But it was being entranced in those like contract signings and the when he turned on him and all that. Yeah, that's a great point. Like, if you can nail both parts, you really end up with something special.
yeah, and I think they can do that.
Yes.
They can definitely deliver on this. Like, they're both great in the ring. I know people criticized her match with Saraya this week, and I get it. Like, it wasn't great. It was fine. It wasn't nearly as bad as people say it was. It was fine.
I was gonna say, like, it served its purpose.
Right.
Like, everybody knew how that was gonna go, and let's be honest here. Saraya always puts a little bit of comedy into her matches, and she like in her character, even in WWE, she overacts, and people kept trying to say, "Oh, she's trying to out Tony Storm."
Yeah.
Technically, Saraya's been doing that longer.
Yeah, but like, that's the other thing. Not every match, especially like you knew it was Tony Storm was not losing
exactly.
that match,
exactly.
Right? Like, that's a knock I've had on AEW for a while. Every week doesn't have to be 15-minute classic matches because it doesn't have to be, and that's fine. Like, I love a great wrestling match as much as anybody else does, but they don't all have to be. I didn't expect that match to be anything other than what it was. It was great. It had served its purpose.
Exactly.
It did its job. And yeah, people like to knock stuff, but
yeah. And we live in a time where everybody hates everything.
Yeah.
Like, they can be like, "Hey, AEW is giving away $600 if you go to this show." They ain't giving $700. I ain't going. Like I don't know who they think I am.
Like, people who are like, "Oh, they only sold 50,000 this year. Last year they had 80,000 people." First of all, I thought last year they only had like 74 because you filed a report with the government, like any normal person would do after a wrestling show.
100%.
But like, yeah, that's honestly like saying, "Oh, this year I only got $1 million. Last year I got 1.2. It's still good."
Yeah.
The fact that they're a company, and first of all, any company, WWE sold. If WWE sold 50,000 tickets, they put out a press release to promote how great it was.
Yes.
Right. So like, any company selling 50,000 tickets to anything is good.
Anything selling 50,000 tickets to anything in this day and age.
If you're a band and you sell, it's great. And comparing them to WWE is dumb. It's like if you're a band, if you had a band and you've been in a band for 5 years and you had a concert at Wembley Stadium and sold 50,000 tickets, you wouldn't be like, "Well, but Taylor Swift had 80." No, because you're not Taylor Swift.
Right.
And 50,000 tickets is still very good. So like,
yes,
relax, people. This is okay. We're gonna go off topic, but
yes,
is this the hottest that just wrestling has been since the Monday Night Wars?
Yeah, I mean, it has to be,
because you have two companies that could sell
like the numbers and the
stadiums full of fans. They could sell either company could sell 50,000, 80,000 tickets to a show.
I was just gonna say the only thing that differs is both companies then were hotter television wise. Like, ratings for both were through the roof.
Yeah, like TV mattered a ton more back then than it does now.
And that's what I was just gonna
TV, like on TV.
Yeah,
on Monday night at 9:00, like, you had to watch the show, whereas now that's not the case anymore. But
yeah, at a time before the internet, no, you had to watch it, and it ran one time.
Yeah, and if you missed Raw, sorry. Like, but yeah, this I think is up there. Like, the fact that there's two companies that can sell, like, if AEW does what they say they're going to do, and I don't see why they wouldn't, and they have a show in Texas and a show in Australia next year, and they sell 40,000 people in Texas and say 30 or 40,000 people in Australia, and obviously WWE is going to have WrestleMania and sell however many they sell. The fact that there's two companies that can do that right now, like, I understand that AEW is not a competitor in the sense that they're not going to pass WWE anytime soon or ever, because WWE is massive and huge and whatever.
And and they have like a literally 40-year head start too. Like,
But like, you don't need to pass someone to be a competitor to them.
Well,
Like,
that's true. That's true.
Like, not even compete. I don't mean compete in terms of like, oh, we're worried. Like, we're worried that we're going to lose our spot to AEW. They're not. Like, they're not worried about that, and they shouldn't be.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But they're a competitor in the sense that they exist and they can sell 50,000 tickets. And I think we've said this before, that like, there was always a draw of, oh, you want to go to WWE because you want to wrestle at WrestleMania. When else are you going to be in front of that size of a crowd?
Right.
And of course, like, I get it. Like, yeah, you want to go to WWE because that would be cool to be in front of like a football stadium full of people. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But like, now you can do that and you don't have to go there. So yeah, this is going to be fun. I know I sidetracked for a bit, but this is going to be fun.
No, and I'm glad you did. And I was watching Stevie Richards' YouTube channel, very highly rated. If you're very interested on how the business side of the wrestling world works, he gets into like the ins and outs of like what it's like to be a WWE professional wrestler. And he was talking about his contract, and he said the weirdest thing is to get used to when you're in WWE is getting like a weekly paycheck. He was like, because wrestling, even for Paul, like Paul was famous for, his checks bouncing in ECW. So he was like, once he was there, it was like so weird. Like it became a job.
Yeah. And like, it's not only a weekly paycheck, but what it's going to be.
Yes.
Whereas like, if you're an indie guy, like, you worked a bunch of shows, you're going to get paid money, but maybe they pay you a portion of the house, or maybe they pay you whatever merchandise sales. Like, one week you'll make, $1,000. Next week you'll make $500. Next week you'll make $3,000. Like, you have no idea.
Yeah.
But like now, that's true. That there's two companies now where you can go there and you can make steady money.
Yeah.
Every week, and it's a job.
Yeah. And that's what Stevie said. He was like, like, not going to like say I made like millions of dollars when I was there, but he was like, it was nice knowing that, if I was at TV and they didn't use me, my paycheck was still going to be X amount,
right?
Whether I had a match or not, it's, and to think about that, like, that wasn't that long ago that just happened in that industry. Like Stevie Richards that was like the late 90s.
Yeah.
Like, that's so odd. Anyways, we have to get back on track here. The American Championship, aka the International Championship. He's just doing this to make fun of Cody, correct? Like,
I really want him to have a giant American flag tattoo on his neck. Like, I would.
Oh,
he'd become my favorite wrestler of all time if he just like it doesn't have to, obviously can't be Cody's logo, but just put like an American flag on your neck. That would be outstanding.
But what if he went and bought one of the fake tattoos that were? I mean, it's merchandise. He's allowed to buy
like the Burberry logo, but with the American flag and put that on his neck. Like, yeah.
Oh, that needs to happen for All In. It's MJF versus Ospreay. Sorry, we got off track. Again, the build, the promo on Dynamite. Oh,
yeah. I have stuff to say about this. I wrote a whole thing, so bear with me. This segment was the best one of the feud, I'd say, out of everything they've done. It was the best thing they've done for sure.
Yeah.
The rest of it has always felt really off because MJF was trying to be a heel by being like super pro-American, but he was doing it in America.
In America, right.
So there was always like at least a portion of the crowd that was going to cheer for him when he came out and was like, the U.S. is the best country in the world. Like, some people are going to cheer, even though he's the heel. And I know they did it because it was going to pay off when they got to the UK, and it paid off. Like, it did.
Yes,
like
it
did. First of all, like, we haven't mentioned it, that show in the UK was incredible. Like, the crowd was so hyped.
Yes, it was.
I love that. I love the size of the building. It was the right size for AEW to run weekly shows in right now. The stage looked really cool. It was a different stage. I kind of want them to use that stage more often, because like just like the stage in the Collision stage, wherever that building was where they're having Collision.
Texas.
The esports arena in Texas. Like, that was a cool that was a cool stage too. Like, I would like to see them do stuff like that more often. But that's a sidetrack. My issue with this, it's I'm nitpicking. Like I'm super pumped for All
yeah,
In. This show's gonna be great, but I'm nitpicking.
You're allowed to nitpick.
I don't love this thing that this AEW is the main character stuff that AEW always seems to do. I mean, Britt did it a bit in the first segment, not very much, but she did a little bit. FTR does it like every week. This idea that like you are not living up to the ideals of All Elite Wrestling, like they've done it 10 times, 50 times. Like I don't want to see it anymore. Especially because there's real in storyline. I mean, not like real. Like personal issues between these two. Like MJF cheated. He hit Ospreay in the head with a ring. He stole his title. He threw it in the garbage. He like mocked his country, and like there's real stuff for like Ospreay to be mad at MJF for. But like all Ospreay's mad at him for is like, you're not the kind of wrestler that AEW should have. Like that's a weak reason to like be mad. I get that he's the face, so like he's like, you're not the person that the fans want to see. I get that. I get it. It's like it's fan service. It's playing to the fans. But I don't know. I felt like he should have been more intense when he started. I know that's Ospreay's character. He's like a funny, aloof kind of guy. But I don't know. I thought it was a little weird. I also thought where he said like, "Oh, MJF's not a good wrestler." Like that's, I don't know. In character, MJF beat like Moxley and Danielson, and Kenny Omega, and like all these people. So saying he's not a good wrestler, I thought was kind of weak. I thought Ospreay could have said, "Oh, you can't win without cheating, or you can't win without help." Like that would have made sense.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I it was fine. It was the best thing they've done. The MJF saved the whole thing when he blurted out that they used to cheer for me until you showed up. Like that made it
awesome. Good. That was awesome.
That
was
made it
so
good.
Awesome.
Like that made it really good. Until then, it was like kind of okay. They're both playing their roles. Like Ospreay's the face who's talking about the fans, and MJF's the heel who's going to make fun of the fans. But then when he said that, then it meant something. It's personal for him too. Like this is why he's hurt, right? Like that made it cool. So I wish they would have stuck with that sort of stuff because that was good.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
no, it feels being extra negative, and like the promo was good. It was I was entertained. I paid attention the whole time. Like I wanted to see what was next. Like I wasn't down on it. And the match is obviously going to be great. But the build has been weird. Like this, the last if the promo was the last 5 minutes of that promo where MJF said that and then made fun of his wife and then Ospreay hit him, that would have been like an all-timer.
Yeah. Oh, when he hit him, that was so sick because I didn't expect it.
Yeah,
I didn't expect it. Who do you got?
I think it kind of has to be Ospreay because it's in England and they're hyping it up. But like it's another one that's kind of tough because I could see it being MJF because he just started this like whole American title thing, and I could see him winning and screwing Ospreay in his home country and like running with that for a while. I could definitely see that happening. But I'm going to say Will Ospreay because AEW likes to give fans what they want to see.
Good point. I also have Ospreay. I also just
feel like I'm being extra negative today, but I'm not. I'm super excited about this show. I don't know.
No, you're doing good, dude. The TBS title, which it's going to be so interesting. Such a fun match. Mercedes, who's our champion, versus Britt Baker, our challenger. I enjoyed the segment on Dynamite.
Yeah, it was good.
I think I'm the only person in the world that digs Camille just being like a silent assassin.
No, I like that. I think it's good.
See, I do too. So many people think that she I don't know what she did before. So if she had a gimmick where she like yelled and screamed on the mic or was good on the mic,
or did something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And if she did, and she has those skills, like that's one day.
Yeah,
but
she was like a superstar on the mic before, and then people were like, "Oh, we're wasting her." Like maybe, I don't know that. But. Yeah. See, what did you think? I liked it because on Collision when Britt attacked her and she just took the kendo stick away and broke it and then slugged her. I saw some people being mad about that, being like, "Oh, they made Britt look bad," but I thought it was cool.
if that was the whole point to make her look bad.
Yeah.
Like that was the whole point. Like, yeah,
I
that's
think
why
it
you
was
do
Meltzer
that.
or something, or Brian Alvarez was like, they made Britt look foolish in there. But I'm like, no, but that's the point. Like, she had a
Yeah.
match. First of all, she just wrestled a match. She's obviously not at full strength. And then, yeah, Camille's supposed to look like a badass who destroys people. So it was, I mean, that's what you're supposed to do, isn't it? When you're a heel, like it did exactly what it was supposed to do. I thought it was great.
I mean, now, again, question for you. This is where we get Jamie Hayter, correct?
I mean, maybe.
To be the equalizer with Camille.
Maybe. I could totally see Mariah May winning and then Jamie Hayter showing up too.
True.
Or Toni Storm winning and Mariah May showing up. I mean, yeah, we
Or,
do. Sorry, not Mariah, Jamie Hayter showing up. Like, we didn't talk about that when we were talking about who could beat Toni Storm. If Toni Storm beat Mariah May and then Jamie Hayter showed up.
Oh, yeah.
And then she's the one who, I do a thing for them. They have a built-in history too.
They have a built-in history, and like it's one of those ones that it could just start up and make sense like next week.
Right. But I mean, it's equally possible that she shows up here to like even the odds.
Yeah, that's where my brain went. I think she like Camille is like the referee's out or something, and she's just whooping on Britt, and then all of a sudden, Hayter comes for the save.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
I have Britt winning.
This was a tough one.
It is tough.
I could see Britt winning for sure, and Mercedes losing and maybe going after like the world title, especially if Toni Storm retains that title. Like, I could see her going after that for sure. Britt's obviously, like, especially because they made this feud is kind of like, oh, I was here before you. I helped build this company and you just showed up and you think that you get to be on top. I could definitely see Britt winning, but I'm going to say Mercedes, but it's a really tough one, but I'm going to say Mercedes.
Okay. This one literally can go either way. And both ways make sense.
Yeah.
If Mercedes retains, I mean, her whole point of being here is to make women's wrestling an international phenomenon. Well, if she wins, she defends her title in England. If she loses, she tried to defend her title in England. Right. I mean, it all makes sense.
I really do love how unpredictable all this is, and it all makes sense. Like,
yes,
so many of these matches could go multiple ways and they would make sense, and I'd want to see them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a well-built card. It's a really well-built, like they've done a great job.
Yeah. Oh, if Tony doesn't have a writing team around him, he has to, because this is too well done.
Yeah, it's been great.
To be one person with like 19 other jobs.
I mean, I'm assuming he doesn't sleep. So I mean,
he like only runs a soccer team, a football team, a wrestling company. God only knows what else.
He's like negotiating a TV deal.
I forgot about that too. And then finally, our main event, the creme de la creme, Swerve, our champion, versus the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. And Bryan Danielson, we talk on here, everything he does is amazing and good.
I'm not even gonna say I usually say might be the best wrestler, at least of my lifetime. I'm just gonna say he is.
Yeah, the promo that he cut on Dynamite, out of this world, when he said, "Let me remind you who the F I am."
Yeah. And like first of all, Swerve looked, I don't know, Swerve is the coolest human.
Yes.
A lot. Like, he just looks like a cool guy. He looks like a badass. He looks like a guy like who could kill you. He looks like a guy who could kill you, but also you kind of want to hang out with.
1000%.
Like, yes. And then Danielson's promo, like it wasn't the same shirt, but I don't know if you noticed, the plaid shirt he was wearing was very similar to the shirt he wore when he announced he was retiring the first time.
I did not notice that.
It was like awesome. Similar colors. It wasn't this exact. The internet pointed it out. Like, it wasn't me. But the internet pointed out that it wasn't the exact same shirt, but it was a very similar shirt. So that was cool. Great promo. Another one. It's tough to pick the loosest one. I don't know. We talked about this last week. I think adding the retirement stipulation kind of made it less predictable. I mean, more predictable for me. But it also kind of made it less predictable, if that makes sense. Because
I see what you're saying.
Without the stipulation, I would have immediately picked Swerve. If it was just
100%.
a match between the two of them, I would have immediately picked Swerve. Adding in the retirement thing made me go, oh, wait, no, now it's definitely going to be Danielson because he's not just going to retire. But I think you said there is a chance that Danielson is like, no, I want to retire losing at like the biggest show of the year. I want to put over the champion. That's what I want. And he could easily do that.
Yeah. I mean, he literally holds all the cards this because he's not like his contract's up.
Yeah, this reminds me of the Sting match when you're like, oh, it's whatever Sting wants. If he wants to lose, he loses. If he wants to win, he wins. And I do think I think he wanted to lose and they kind of overruled him there. But I hope it's Danielson. I think it's Danielson. I'm going to pick Bryan Danielson.
Same.
But I would not be shocked if it was Swerve.
Agreed. I'm gonna write your name down so I don't forget, and then I have it's not a rebuttal. I just have my 2 cents. The thing that makes me think it's Danielson even more, especially now, he never mentions his family, and he mentioned that his wife and his kids are going to be at ringside, and Swerve took that as, oh, they're there to comfort you when you have to say goodbye, and I think he's going to turn that into, I wanted them there to see me be a world champion.
Okay, yeah, that would be cool.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that's how he's going to flip.
I mean, what a scene that's going to, this was a big scene. Like the show ended with him and the crowd doing the yes chants, and that was like 4,000 people. Like if they get a 50,000 people yes chant thing at the end of the show, like that's a moment they'll play forever.
Right. The fireworks going off, the kids in the ring, Brie in the ring.
Yeah.
The confetti, like you said, everyone doing yes, like, come on.
Yeah, that's gonna be. I hope that's what happens.
Same. Just because give him his flowers now. Why wait?
And we've said before, how much that would mean to the AEW title, because he is legitimately I'm gonna stop saying probably. He's the best wrestler since I've been alive that I've seen wrestle. And I know Bret Hart's great and Ric Flair's great and whoever, but in my cognizant lifetime of watching wrestling, I think it's Bryan Danielson.
I have to agree. But I also like in Danielson's wrestling brain, how he instead of saying he had to say he was the best wrestler in the last 20 years,
right?
He couldn't get himself to say of all time or up the 2000s,
right?
It's of the last 20 years.
Yeah. He's there's other wrestlers who were in the conversation, right? Like Flair or Steamboat or Bret Hart or Shawn Michaels or Kurt Angle. They're all in there. But I don't know. Danielson's great.
Yeah.
It would do so much for the title, and it would take nothing from Swerve.
Exactly.
There'd be people who are mad, being like, "Oh, they buried it." But no, you're being dumb. Yeah. It would take nothing away from him. He gets to be in a huge match on a huge stage. Obviously, it would elevate him if he beat Danielson, but it would elevate him if he doesn't beat Danielson. Swerve elevated himself. As good as the promo Danielson had, Swerve cut an awesome promo right before that about no matter where you show up, I'm going to get you if you ever try to wrestle again. That was awesome. He could win it back. He could win it back in 3 or 4 months.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. You set up the rematch, and the rematch at Wrestle Dream in Washington, both their home states.
Yeah.
Swerve wins it back. His family's there. Danielson's family's there. Danielson gets to retire. They can make it a spectacle.
Yeah.
And
they can pitch it like they did Sting's last match. Oh, no matter what happens, I'm retiring.
Right.
So yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
Here's my question for you.
Okay.
Is there a clean end to this match?
Yeah.
I think there kind of has to be, but Hangman's around, right? So you don't know what's going to happen.
That's true. I was going to say, put it this way. If Danielson wins, I think it makes it, it'll be there won't be any shenanigans for anybody. But if somebody runs in, I think Swerve wins. That'll be because then that'll be something Hangman would have to live with. If he would have left it alone, And then like Swerve will use that against him, like, oh, because of you, the best wrestler of all time is no longer here. Yeah, exactly.
That would be fun. I didn't think of that. What I
Yeah,
did think of though is we're all thinking of Hangman costing Swerve the title, right? But
yeah,
say Hangman wins the gauntlet and he has the championship match coming up. Like you said, he doesn't want to face Danielson. He wants to face Swerve.
right.
Is he going to cost
Oh, like
Danielson?
come in and attack Danielson so
Yeah,
Swerve
because
gets
he
disqualified.
wants Swerve to win. He wants Swerve to stay the champion because he wants to take the belt from him.
Oh, that would be awesome. And then you have, then what would Danielson do? Oh, again, it
Yeah,
all makes sense too.
yeah.
Uh,
I mean, I
so
want
good.
Danielson to win, and I want him to be clean. I want it
Yeah.
to be a clean. That's what I want to happen. But I would not be upset with any of the things we talked about.
Oh, dude,
So
I
good.
don't,
It's so
I,
good.
I don't think I have been this excited for a pay-per-view, and maybe since like the first AEW, like once they were a company,
I think
like
the
not
last
the
one I was
first
this
all.
excited for was whatever the one after All In
Like,
2021 was when Danielson showed up
oh, okay.
because they had that pay per
Dude.
view was the one when Punk debuted and then Danielson and Adam Cole showed up at the end. I think it was
Yeah,
Full Gear. Full Gear was after that.
yeah,
That was the last time I think I was this excited for a show because after that pay per view, you're like, oh, anyone could show up, right? Like this is
yeah.
incredible. But yeah, this one, I don't know. This is going to be great. Like I can't see a way. Like AEW always delivers on pay per view, and I know I sounded like I was complaining a lot about tonight, but I'm being silly. I'm nitpicking, right?
Hmm.
They always deliver on pay per view. Even the two, like I said before, the two world title matches. If they were the only matches on this show, it'd be a great show. Like the women's title and the men's title with
Oh
the build
yeah,
they've had, like that alone makes it a great like there have been I mean wrestling now is different than it was in the past. Like wrestling now is like they have wall to wall great cards from top
yeah,
to bottom, right? But like wrestling in like the 80s or even the 90s, like all you cared about was like the world title match. Like WrestleMania 3, you had Andre Hogan, you had Macho Man, Ricky Steamboat, but what was the rest of it? Nothing, right? Like it was just matches,
yeah,
right? Like no one cared about the rest of that show, really. Um
yeah. There was like I'm trying to think of another match to like make a joke, and I can't.
yeah.
Like literally, I
You
can't.
could have those two matches and this would be an all-time show.
Yeah.
But with the whole card, all these matches, all the build, like they're going to deliver in the ring. They never
Hmm.
there's never been a pay-per-view where you thought they didn't deliver in the ring. Like the matches weren't good. They're always
Right.
good. So
Always.
I can't see how this can be anything other than a great pay-per-view
I agree.
with the build, with the hype, with the crowd, with the way that these people can wrestle. Like maybe maybe the standard is too high, and maybe now everyone's going to expect the greatest pay per view of all time, and it's going to be the third greatest pay per view of all time, and people are going to lose their minds. But I don't know. I can't see it not being great.
I agree. There's just I don't want to say a perfect storm, but unless the ring falls apart, they have a pretty good shot of probably putting on one of the greatest pay-per-views of all time.
Yeah,
Oh,
and I mean, we talked about the people who could show up, right? People who either work
yeah,
there already or don't work there. Like, there's people who are not on this show who will probably be at All Out, but like Okada is not in a match,
right.
right? Like
Or
Takeshita's not in a
yet.
match. John Moxley's not in a match, right? Like
Yeah,
there could be so much more, and there might be so much more. We don't know, right? Like
right.
it's gonna be, this is gonna be good. It's gonna be good stuff.
And the three names that you just mentioned again could also be in that Casino Gauntlet match. Like
Right?
three people I forgot about. Like when
Yeah.
you forget about Okada, Takeshita, and Mox, you got a
Yeah.
stacked card. Wow.
Yeah. This is gonna be good stuff, and like
Yeah.
I don't know it. And it's unpredictable. Like there's a lot of wrestling shows, and like we've said before, we said on this podcast, like predictable is not bad because it makes sense, right?
Hmm.
Like when
Yeah.
Hangman beat Kenny Omega for the title, you're like, yeah, that made perfect sense. That didn't make it less good because you
Right.
knew it was going to happen. But like this one, it could go multiple different ways. Like there's the wild card of the gauntlet, and you don't know when they're going to challenge for it. So like that could change everything. You don't know who's in it. That could change
Right.
everything.
Right.
There's another pay-per-view in 2 weeks, so they have to have matches for that. Like, I don't know. This is gonna be good stuff. I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Very excited too.
I'm talking a lot. I feel like I'm talking very loudly and very fast, but it's because of my excitement.
It's all good, man. All good.
What do you think will be the best match of the night? It's a hard one.
It is a hard one. The women's world title has the potential just because of everything leading into it, and so I'll say either world title match just because the story's going into them. Like, if Danielson wins and becomes the first time AEW champion and doesn't have to retire, that's just awesome. And you know, see Mariah May possibly winning at a young age in front of the biggest crowd she's ever been in front of in her home country with all her family there. Can't beat that either. Like,
I think it has to be one of those two. Like, there's gonna be other great matches. Like the Osprey match, Osprey MJF match is gonna be great for sure. Mercedes and Britt's gonna have a great match. Like, all of them are gonna be good, but it is one of those two. I think it's gonna be the main event, the men's world title, only because whether or not Bryan Danielson is retiring now or in 6 months, he's kind of made it his job, his goal to like do everything he's ever done. And he's going to go out of his way to make sure that this is like, he wrestled Okada in a close to 5-star match where he broke his arm.
Right.
And then just like continued the match and it was great. So like he can, I don't know, he can do incredible things. I think his match with Swerve is going to be the main, but like I could easily see it being Mariah May and Toni Storm just because of everything. I don't know. It's great show. So excited.
Yeah, I'm so excited, and I cannot wait for everything to get started. It's just
it's gonna be long though. It starts at 1 o'clock. I feel like it's gonna go for like 5 or 6 hours. But hey,
well, don't they have a strict
they have a curfew.
There it is. So curfew.
What's 1 o'clock England time? It's like 6 o'clock, right? I think it's 5 hours.
Okay. So, well, I guess they could go.
I think their curfew is like 11:30 or midnight or something. So yeah, it could still be 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah, it could still be. Yeah. I'm stoked. Anyways, do you have any final thoughts, sir?
No, I'm very excited.
Same. On that note, then, everybody, make sure to like, share, subscribe.
Comment if you could comment.
Comment too.
Spotify and YouTube both let you comment. So comment with what your match of the night's going to be, because we want to know.
At Elite City Pod everywhere. Enjoy the show. Let us know what you think, and it's going to be a fun one. And we will talk to you again next week. So until then, later.